Hello, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, and I think we're going to begin. So I would like to welcome all of you to Theater Lovers Club. As you know, at this point, we are going to keep you muted and keep your video off until we are further into our discussion. And at the end, Barb certainly will be answering questions from all of you. So I would really like to welcome you today to the Theater Lovers Club and to Barbara Hatch. And we're going to be talking about the New Mexico School for the Arts today, which I'm very excited about. And right before we begin that, though, I really did want to encourage all of you to attend the New Mexico Actors Lab, which will have a benefit for the contemporary Ukrainian situation that's happening right now. They will be looking at contemporary Ukrainian poetry and prose. And Robert Benedetti will also be there, and Nicholas Ballas will be directing several of our wonderful New Mexico actors. Susan Lederer will also be in there. Mari will be in there. Nicholas will be in there, and also Kopani will be in there. So we would really like you to attend this. We will definitely, there'll be a $50 donation, which will go to the Ukrainian benefit. So all of you can attend, please do. It'll be this Sunday, March 13th at 2 p.m. at the lab. Now, I would really like to take the time to introduce Barbara Hatch, who is at this point the chair of the theater department for the New Mexico School for the Arts. And Barbara is a graduate of the Tisch School of the Arts and has worked with the Actors and Directors Lab in the experimental. The other thing I did not know about Barbara is that she has both a BA and in the arts and also in German literature. And also she has a master's degree in art history from the University of Toulouse, France, which I really didn't realize she was so accomplished besides just theater. She has worked in large public schools and done a lot of work in Shakespeare as well. She's worked in the Westwind Repertory Company, and she's also been an actor and director in our lovely Santa Fe, New Mexico, and has worked with most of the actors in this town on Santa Fe Theater and also in the lab, the Actors Lab. And she was recently, you just probably saw her in the Avalanche at the Actors Lab, written by Leslie Dillon. So at this point, she is certainly the interim and chair at the New Mexico School for the Arts. And I look so forward to her telling us all about what they have had happen to them over the last 2 years with COVID. And then now as they're opening up and things are starting to develop for them going forward. So Barb, congrats again for all the work you've done. And we're looking forward to hearing from you in the New Mexico School for the Arts. Thanks.
There we go. All right. There was a moment there that I could not unmute. So thank you all so much for coming tonight. This has been, if nothing, an unusual couple of years here in not only at in the New Mexico School for the Arts, but all over the country and all over the world. So before I start talking about what we have done in the past, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about where I just came from. We moved into this building, these beautiful new buildings here at what was the San Busco Market in the fall of 2019. Some of you may have been at one of Joey Chavez's fabulous talks in our building. And if you weren't, I'm going to take you on a short tour of the buildings a little bit later. So we moved in the fall of 2019. We were not even able to come into this building where the theater department and the dance department are housed until almost November of 2019 because the construction wasn't finished. So we were all kind of crowded into a different section of the school for the longest time. And we finally moved into our buildings in was like end of October, beginning of November. And then there was Thanksgiving break, and then there was Christmas break, and then we came back. And at the beginning of March of 2020, almost exactly 2 years ago, I took, Joey Chavez and I took 65 students to Denver for 3 days to see shows and take classes. And when we came back, we were in the building for 4 more days. And then they said, bye-bye, see you after spring break. We're shutting down. Oh, and there's this thing called COVID, but we'll see you after spring break. Well, we never came back into the building until the spring of last year, the spring of 2021. We were able to get most of our students, except for our boarding students, because the dorms were closed. We got most of our students back into the building in April of last year. And then we had to start all over again, right? Our freshman class, that was the class that was freshmen last year, came into the building as sophomores, and they had never had an experience in a high school like this before. So a lot of big things happened. We made a lot of adjustments during COVID as far as how we did our performances. We were writing a lot of original work because in order to show work to the general public and not pay exorbitant amounts of money for royalties, we did a lot of devised work, a lot of original work, short plays and so forth, and Zoomed them. And everybody got pretty tired of Zoom, I can tell you that much. So now I'm going to move into what we ended up doing this year. Because we're still in COVID, because last fall numbers were all over the place, we could not have external audiences come inside our buildings. So what we did was we very carefully crafted our fall season in order to be able to perform outdoors. You'll see it, hopefully if you come visit us, in the main building, there's the beautiful gallery that's in brick. And beyond that, there's a grassy area, and there's sort of a natural stage area. And so we staged our fall season to be performed outdoors so that our students could be unmasked, keeping very safe distances. We blocked everything very cautiously so that they could be 3 to 6 feet apart. If they came closer to each other, they had their masks around their necks and they just went like this. They spoke and then they just continued what they were doing. And that worked beautifully. We had audiences seated outside, masked, and the weather was good. It was kind of windy sometimes, so it was very exciting when our pipe and drape would blow in the wind and everybody's looking at it. Oh my gosh, is it going to fall? And everybody can kind of carry, actors would be holding it while they're saying their lines and everyone carried on. So it worked out beautifully. So we'll start with a little bit of a slideshow of some of the shows that we did this past fall. The first, actually the last production that we did in November was 23 Flights Home, which was written and directed by our own Joey Chavez. And we actually performed that the weekend before he retired due to health concerns, which some of you may know about. So 23 Flights Home is a New Mexican story. We have some slides to show you. And the actors were from all grade levels. Here we have a senior, Liam, and a junior, Kira. And it was somewhat autobiographical and a beautiful story about love and living in New Mexico and moving away from New Mexico and coming back home. A young man moves to New York City and decides to write a novel, and it's just not working for him. And so you can continue. Leslie, go ahead and just sort of filter through the slides of 23 Flights Home as we go. So you see how we did some beautiful pipe and drape, and we're able to work outdoors, and the actors are staged in a way that they were safe while they were performing. So that was 23 Flights Home. The first production of our season was The Liar, written by David Ives, which is an adaptation of the Pierre Corneille play of the same name, The Liar. And I directed this one, and it's a period piece. And this was our experimental piece. We kind of grew as we went. We kind of, ooh, is this going to work? Are we going to get audiences? How are audiences going to feel about seeing a play at NMSA? So go ahead, Leslie, you can go ahead and hit that little video. as I speak, will just filter through. This is Theo Kutzko, who is actually going to be graduating. They are a senior, and they are most likely going to be studying musical theater at the Manhattan School for Music. And they played the lead in this play. We have a few more of the actors here. Dakota in the red is also going into theater and musical theater and women's studies. So this was a wonderful experiment. You can see some audience members, they were very small, the audiences at first, because as I said, it was sort of an experiment to see how it worked, if it would work. And it actually did work pretty well. Leslie, you can keep just kind of slide through them. We used the environment in that garden area beautifully. We had natural steps. There were some beautiful plantings that we were able to use as part of our set. So it worked really, really gorgeously. And the door, you see that doorway led right into the gallery. So that became our green room and our entrances and exits. It was a lot of fun. So I'm not going to talk any more about this production. We'll just kind of go through them. Great. Before we talk about this, I'm going to tell you about our third production of this past fall season that we did. And that was called Cinematic Mime. And this is a form that is very unusual. It's 4 to 5 actors performing on a 4-foot by 8-foot platform. So they're very close together. So these students were all masked, and they are given the task of recreating a full-length feature film in 12 minutes or less, using their bodies, their voices, and cinematic techniques, long shot, close up. They could be a table. They did The Shining. One of them was the hatchet that Jack was using to kill Wendy or try to kill Wendy, and so forth. And that was actually sort of an audience moving with the pieces. There were 8 different productions, 8 different movies. And so the audience would move from one stage area to the next in different areas around the entire building. So everybody got to see all of the movies, and it was really a lot of fun. So kind of interactive and outdoors and all over the school. So that was our fall season. So we were very inventive on trying to figure out ways to get audience in here and have the students have a really, really positive experience of being able to perform. Now we'll move forward to what is coming up. And there is a lot coming up in our spring season. So the first thing that you see up in your upper, well, it's my upper right, I guess, is what is called our one-act play festival. We are, every year, we do a one-act play series. Our sophomore class works with a playwriting teacher. In the past, it was Joey Chavez. We hired a new teacher, Laurel Minter, who came in to teach the playwriting class. And in their second trimester of classes, after they've studied scene study and textual analysis with me, where they sort of learn the structure of a classic play formation, they then are able to stretch their wings and write short plays. So we have 11 12 to 15 minute plays that are going to be taking place on Saturday, April 2nd, written by the sophomores. They are directed by our seniors in our senior class. And our seniors are we're taking a directing class with Miss Elizabeth Fagan, who came in August, another new teacher, who's been working with them on directing techniques and styles. And so then the rest of the company, the rest of the students, from 9th grade through 11th grade, every single student is an actor in one of these plays. So you would get to see every single student perform in these plays. And they range from comedies to tragedies. There's a little bit of, there's some mysteries. It spans a wide range of subjects. So pretty exciting. Then down below in blue, you see senior projects. Every year in their third trimester, we have an honors level class called senior projects, and I lead that class. I start working with the seniors periodically right from the beginning of the year. I meet with them every month, and we start talking about ideas of what they'd like to present as their senior project. And their senior project is basically the culminating project of their 4 years here at NMSA. It is something that they feel very strongly about expressing about themselves as artists and as humans in the world today. Some of them might be, we're in the throes of just really fleshing out their ideas right now, but they could talk about the environment. They might have something specific to talk about immigration. There might be something about just their experience of going through these 4 crazy, hectic years. Could be about COVID and how it affected them. So we'll have 10 individual senior projects over those 2 nights, April 22nd and April 23rd. And it says Bludio, and you may say, what the heck is a Bludio? I'm going to show it to you in a couple of minutes when we walk through the school. Our next big production is the musical The Addams Family. Now, under normal circumstances, we would have done a big play, just the theater, in February at the James A. Little Theater. But as we all know, anyone who has ever worked there, the James A. has been closed to the public for quite some time, and we were unable to do a production there. So Fred Graham and I, Fred Graham is the vocal teacher over in the music department, started brainstorming, hey, what would happen if we could actually collaborate between the vocal department and the theater department on a musical and do a big cast musical sometime this year. And so here we are. We've been working on The Addams Family since the beginning of December. I'll tell you a little bit about the schedule of our days so that it gives you an idea how tough it is to coordinate 2 totally separate departments. They're over in Building B, which is way the heck on the other side of the campus, and we're over here, and our classes are being taught simultaneously. And so to coordinate schedules has been quite interesting. But we have 35 vocalists, 25 actors, and we'll have about 10 musicians and 6 to 10 theater crew working on this musical. So a huge collaboration. We had so many fabulous actors and so many fabulous vocalists audition that we had to actually double cast some of the lead roles. So you see cast 1 and cast 2, cast 1 will perform on Thursday at 7 p.m. and on Saturday at 2 p.m. and cast 2 will be Friday the 29th at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. And we are going to offer some discounted tickets to Theater Lover Club members to come see one of our matinee performances. I believe it's going to be Saturday. I will confirm that with everybody well in advance. And I don't know yet the ticket prices, but they will be nicely discounted. And we hope to see everyone there for that performance. It's going to be a blast. And then finally, our final big performance that normally, again, here we have normally in pre-COVID times, and now we're here in COVID times, Art Spring is our end of the year gala fundraiser extravaganza that we usually do on the stage of the Lensic. We've decided to bring it home. And we're going to have a fabulous, it's actually a 3-day kind of festival over the weekend of May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And the big gala performance is Saturday night, May 21st. We'll have 1 performance Friday night, mostly for families, 1 performance Saturday afternoon. That'll be, I think the tickets are $30. Then Saturday night gala, big gala performance with dinner, and those are the big tickets, prices. It's all on our website. And then Sunday, 1 more performance with reduced ticket prices. We want people to see not just the performances, but the students in their element. So Art Spring is going to be very cool because you'll walk into our main building and you come down the Paseo, and on your left is the art gallery where you can walk in and see students' art and actually speak with visual artists and ask them questions about their work and interact with students. Then you continue down the Paseo and you will see some dancers. dancing some original choreography with a couple of musicians playing live music. Then you'll continue down the Paseo and you walk into a classroom and you will have a string quartet. And in another room, you can walk in and there's an improv group and you can join and do some improv. That'll be so super interactive. You might walk into another room and there's a brass band, I don't know. And then another room, there's going to be a short play, maybe one from our play festival that's happening at the end of March. And another, a monologuist showing their monologues. And then farther down the Paseo, more visual artists that you can interact with and see their work. So that's the first part, that lasts about an hour. And then you get to watch a live performance. So you'll see live performances from every department. We have 5 majors in our school: theater, dance, music, both vocal and instrumental, visual arts, and creative writing and literature. And everybody will perform, and that's going to be the big extravaganza. So pretty exciting weekend. Check it out on our website, www.nmschoolforthearts.org. That is our spring season, and that's a lot. These kids are working hard every day. The way our school operates is that the students arrive at school between 8 and 8:30. Usually, some of them take the train up from Albuquerque. Some of them drive in from Pojoaque or from Los Alamos or from Española. We do have dorm students. We are a statewide school, and those students come in on Sunday nights from as far away as Silver City, Roswell, Artesia, Grants, Taos, and then they spend the week at school, and then on Friday after school, they can go home for the weekend and then come again on Sunday nights. So our day starts, our first academic classes start a little bit past 9 o'clock. They have math, science, history, languages, what did I forget? All of your high school courses. And then at about 2 o'clock, they have a short break and they start what is called their arts block. And from 2:15 until 5 p.m. every single day, they work in their major. They have their classes and their rehearsals, depending on what department they're in. So it's a very long day for these students. And that's when our rehearsals take place, where they learn theater history, where they learn, they do monologue classes, scene study, directing, fundamentals, theater fundamentals. Our freshmen start with the basics, everything you need to know about theater. Yeah, so it's been a pretty exciting time this year. So I've taken over for Joey Chavez this past fall. And at the same time, Charles Gamble, who's been with the school since the beginning, announced that he was going to be going on sabbatical for some time. So we're hoping he comes back in the fall. And Kate Chavez had left earlier last year to take a job down in Albuquerque. So the original team has sort of disintegrated, and we've been busy building a new team of fabulous teachers. Laurel Minter, who I mentioned, who is teaching, who just finished teaching playwriting and is now teaching acting for camera to the juniors. Shayla Patton, who's been working with the freshmen mostly in their character development class, and now movement and singing for actors. And Elizabeth Fagan, who started in August, who's been teaching the directors, the seniors. She taught the juniors in the fall some monologue work, and now she's with the sophomores doing a styles class, covering all styles of theater back to the 16th century, I believe. So pretty exciting stuff here at NMSA. How am I doing on time, Deb?
Thank you. Now I'm unmuted. Great. You're doing well on time, Barb. We do have time for you to take a little tour.
So let's take a little tour. Yeah, I hope I won't make you dizzy. Where we are right now is, this is the theater office. So this is where I come every morning. I sit at my crazy messy desk. And the rest of the theater office, we have another desk over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my computer around, and we're just going to go for a little walk. I hope this is okay, that everybody can see.
It's good.
So, thank you, Deb. As we walk through, this is the old World Market building. This is where World Market used to be. So this is what we call Building C. In the mornings, there's some classrooms. I'm going to show you to Miss Aldana's classroom. She teaches New Mexico history and health. That's Miss. You're fine, Miss Aldana. I'm just going to stay right here. But this is a classroom during the day. And then in the afternoons, it is one of our rehearsal spaces and classrooms. And in Building C, we have 4 rooms like that. One right here. And this is a nice large lobby area that the students can take a little break in, do some writing, do some work. But we have, if you look on the wall, we have a lot of our show posters from past shows. And then 2 more classrooms down here. It's all kind of dark in here, of course, because nobody's here. This classroom is kind of cool because it has a floor that is also designed. It's not a sprung floor, but it's a raised floor and it's soft and squishy. I don't know what it's called, don't ask me, but the dancers can use this room if they need extra space. But in the mornings, it is an English classroom. And then as we move back through the building, back through this lovely lobby area, up on the wall up there, I hope you can see, we have a collection of some really cool masks that were donated to the school by Edgar Daniels Foster last year, a couple of years ago before he passed away. So we were very grateful to him for those. This is another one of our nice large classrooms. I'm going to turn on the lights. There you go. So beautiful, large, open space for students to be able to do some really cool work. Within this room, we also have behind the doors, the secret doors, a messy prop room. Why are prop rooms always such a mess? That's what I'd like to know. So more masks, we have chlamydia masks, we have neutral masks, we have all kinds of larval masks, so our students get to work with masks. So we're going to move out of this room. This is one of my favorite walls. This is the sign-in wall. Every student, when they come in, before they go to class, they have to sign in, just like you do when you're in a show. And if your stage manager, meaning me, doesn't see that you're signed in, you get marked absent, and nobody wants to get marked absent. This hallway, the lights will turn on in a moment, I promise you. They're all automatic. There you go. So down this hallway, those are the cubbies where the students they leave their clothes, their backpacks, it's a mess, their stuff so that they can work unencumbered. And we're walking into, I promised you, the Bludio. And this is our Bludio space. It does not have a lighting system yet, but our dear friend Skip Rappaport has designed a lighting package for us and is going to be installing our light system in here. So we have a gorgeous sound system, and we will have some lights so that we can do some really simple performances. Right now it's in a 3/4 sort of black boxy kind of a formation, but we can change that if we want to. Anybody want to see the messy costume room? Let's go see the messy costume room. When we moved out of our old buildings, we got rid of most of our costumes because we don't have a lot of space. And here we are. Here are some of the costumes that we kept. Very small room, very many costumes. Again, total mess. I'm almost embarrassed to show you that. So this is our Bludio. It can seat up to about 80 people. We have not yet used it as a performance space because of COVID. And we are hoping that our senior projects will take place in here. One last room that I wanted to show you here is our library. It will light up again, don't be scared. So we have our library. Most of these plays and books on theater have been donated to us. And so we love that. And we're always looking for new plays. So that's our library. In the same building, not only is theater housed, but we have 2 dance studios. Up until the time we moved into these buildings, the dancers had to be bused to NDI because we had no dance space in our old school. So one of the main things that we did was to build fabulous state-of-the-art dance studios. So I'm going to take you upstairs and I hope the light turns on as I come up the stairs. So we're going upstairs, 2nd floor of the old World Market building, building C, to our big double dance studio. And as I walk in, the lights, there we go. So this is actually 2 rooms. Right now, the wall is open, but we have a folding wall that can turn this into 2 separate rooms so that our dancers can dance. There we are. So this is Building C, Theater and Dance. The rest of our campus, Building A and Building B, house visual arts, music, and creative writing and literature, and classrooms for every single their academic classes in the morning. So I'm going to turn around and say hi. There you go. As we walk back to my office. Hi. Oh, there's some beautiful visual artists. We like to put art everywhere, not just in the departments that the students are working in, but everywhere in the building so that everybody sees each other's work all the time. There was one thing I wanted to tell you. I told you that Denver 2 years ago, we went with the whole department. And normally we raise about $20,000 so that every student can go and not have to pay anything. Well, because of COVID, we couldn't raise that kind of money this year. So instead of taking the entire department, I just got back on Sunday with the seniors from the theater department. And we spent 3 days in Denver. And we saw, well, first, Friday morning, they took 3 classes taught by professional, actually national theater artists, really amazing artists. They took a Stella Adler technique class, they took a commercial voiceover class, and they took a mask class. That was on Friday. And then we saw the world premiere of a play called, new musical called Rattlesnake Kate. And then on Saturday night, we saw a second world premiere of a play called In the Upper Room. And I also let them play a little bit, and we went to Meow Wolf because we're in Denver. Hey, you got to go to Meow Wolf. So they had a fabulous educational experience, fabulous conversations about 2 new productions that had been developed during the New Play Festival in Denver in 2018 and 2019, I believe. And got to really get a sense of working professionally with professionals in a nationally recognized Denver Center for the Performing Arts. So we just got back on Sunday. Woo! So it's been a whirlwind couple of years, I'll tell you. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. So I guess now we'll open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions for me, I would love to answer questions. I love questions.
I have a question.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, Barb. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Nice to see
Good.
you.
You too. Boy, it all sounds fantastic.
Thank
So
you.
I'm curious, for your seniors, those who are going into performing, are they going to, say, ERTA auditions, and is there prep for that? And like what kind of transitioning is helping the seniors who are performers moving on to the next step?
Yeah, so not all of our seniors are going to go on to a conservatory program or a FA program. Some of them sometimes end up being, going into environmental science. But we prepare every single one of our students to be ready to be able to audition for anything. So we have in the fall, the seniors take a monologue prep to college audition prep class so that they are ready to audition for colleges or for conservatories or for film, because a lot of our students do go on because they want to do film work. So we do have a lot of that prep, and then we work with them individually on their auditions. I have spent a lot of time, all of us here, all of the teachers have spent time with our students working with their monologues, and they get 4 different teachers' perspectives and input and feedback. So they really have a fine-tuned couple of monologues. By the time they graduate here, they have 5 or 6 monologues under their belt that they can take anywhere and audition anywhere. So, yeah.
Okay, Jennifer has a question as well. I'm going to let her. Jen?
Yeah, I'm wondering, I know that COVID hit you all pretty hard. And I gather there's been a bit of attrition in the senior class. Have you found that this has discouraged your students from going on or continuing in the theater arts?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, Jen. Yes, when and I was telling you a little bit about this before, when we started, so when this senior class started, we had 16. One joined us as a junior last year during COVID, and now we're down to 10. We have a total of 10. Several of them, we had a couple who graduated early because they found that being online with COVID was just impossible. Some of them graduated, some of them left school entirely and got their GEDs. 1 or 2 actually moved out of state. So our senior class that was kind of robust with 16, 17 is now down to 10. And these are the students who have really been sticking it in there. Discouraging, I think that we've all felt moments of discouragement because it has been so hard. But at the same time, the resilience of these students is phenomenal. And I am blown away every day by sorry, I get emotional. The fact that they show up and they come to school and they are here and they're creating and they're working and they're trying. And yeah, honestly, there are days when it really, frankly, excuse my language, but it sucks. It's really hard sometimes. And yet we all show up and we work with them and we're here for them and they know that. And so, yeah, that's how that goes. Hope that answers.
Barb. Thank you. Jan, you have a question too? Can you come in, Jan?
Hi, Barb.
Yeah, nice to see you.
My question's actually kind of been answered. How many kids go on to careers in the arts?
Yeah.
And so I just thought I would give you an example to Randy and to anybody else who's listening. My granddaughter was one of your students and in theater, and she is now a junior at University of Washington in Tacoma, studying using this background in theater and presentation and the crafting of ideas and putting them forward. She has now moved into, she's a junior, in labor and gender issues and psychology, ready to go on to her master's as soon as she can get this undergraduate degree.
Wow.
So these kids get a versatile everything. They get the devotion of teachers like you and Joey and all the personal encouragement that I think is missing a lot of times to our young people. They don't know which way to go. And so the modeling that she got of resilience and courage and voice is just, she's doing beautifully well and expressing herself openly. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Jan. And that's something that's really important to know, that we're not necessarily here to create Broadway stars or to encourage students. It's a hard business. We all know that, right? It's a hard business.
Mhm.
However, what they learn here will serve them in every walk of life. They learn to be better collaborators, better teammates, better forward planners, backward thinkers,
That was
forward
good.
thinkers, something like that, right? And to be the best people that they can be, and they walk out of here with great communication skills, like Jan said, the ability to stand up in front of a room, which sometimes for some of them, when you're a freshman, when these students, they audition, they're 13 or 14 years old, and they have a passion for this. They think, oh, I want to be an actor. This is the best thing. And they're still 13, 14 years old. And they're nervous, they're scared, they're terrified. They learn how to find their confidence, to find their voice, to be able to express themselves, to be able to go out and be advocates for themselves. We have some incredible activists in this school. There's so much going on in the world, and you may have read some things in the paper, but our students are speaking out for themselves. They are saying, this is wrong, things need to change, we need to fix the world. And this is what we want them to do through theater, through dance, through visual arts, through just the voices that they learn to use, right? So thank you, Jan. That's great. Oh, say hi to Verity for me.
Beautiful question, Mim. Mim, you have a question.
Yes,
there.
first of all, hi. Oh, this is so exciting.
Isn't it
Thank
inspiring?
you so much for sharing with us. I have a story, Jan, your story really inspired me of your kidlet. And I have a story and then I have a question. When I was the principal of a slum junior high school up in Alaska, we started a theater program in cooperation with a local theater company where our, everybody says, slum kids in theater. Well, our kids wrote their stories, acted them, produced them. I mean, you know, when you have an old white lady staying up there, be careful of drugs and gangs, it's one thing. But when you have a big Samoan gangbanger with tattoos all over his body, standing up and doing a play about how he watched his best friend shot in a gang execution, that has power. One of the kids in that program was a special ed kid who'd never gotten anything above a C in his life. He found his voice in theater. We were testifying before the city council to get funding to continue the program. He testified before the city council and he said, I'm special ed. I couldn't read, write. I'd never got anything above a C. I found my voice and I'm going to college. That kid now is a top trainer for a tech company making big bucks. And he said, it's all because of finding his voice in theater. So all kinds of kids, you don't know what you're doing for them. My question for you is, are you a private school? Are you a charter school? Do your kids have to pay tuition? They audition and it's all state funded? And do the teachers have the same credentialing things that other teachers? How does your school work technically?
Great. So that excellent question. Thank you, Mim. So we are not, please. There, I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay. Phew, sorry. Sorry, I was talking and I was muted for some reason. So Mim, to answer your question, and for everyone, we are not a private school. This is NMSA, New Mexico School for the Arts, is not a private school. We are public charter. We are under we have a governing council that that covers everything for the Art Institute, that is everything arts related. And we are public with everything academic related. So every student who graduates from the New Mexico School for the Arts graduates with a high school diploma from the state of New Mexico and an art certificate attesting to the fact that they will have gotten in 4 years of study here about 2,000 hours of training in their major. That doesn't even count performances, exhibits, and the work that they do outside of the school. There is no tuition. There is a fee that we ask to pay. If you cannot pay, there is funding to pay that. The dormitories, there is a fee as well, but we want everyone to be able to come to the school who gets into the school. It is by audition. However, the audition process is blind. When we audition students, we do not see anything but the artist standing in front of us. We don't see anything about we don't see their transcript. We don't see recommendation letters. We don't know anything about the student except when they walk into the audition room or the Zoom room, in our case, the past couple of years. We see the artist in front of us, and each student is given the same parameters: prepare 2 contrasting monologues. And then one of the 4 of this is I'm speaking specifically to the theater audition. One of the 4 instructors will then give them an adjustment, so a direction, so that we can see how they understand directions. And then they repeat one of the 2 monologues. Maybe they'll do a half of it. And then we have a conversation with them. They have a series of questions that they will have had in advance that they can prepare their answers and really think about what they want to say about why do you want to come to NMSA? What is it that you love about theater? And some more questions along those lines. As far as accreditation, because we are a public high school, all of the academic teachers are licensed teachers. That goes without saying. In the arts, it's slightly different since we are governed by the Art Institute. It is not at this point a requirement. I happen to be a licensed teacher because before I moved to before I moved to New Mexico, I was a public high school teacher in New Jersey. And so my licensure is valid in New Mexico. And so I've been teaching high school for a long time. And there are other teachers in the school in the arts who are also licensed teachers. But it's not a requirement to teach at NMSA in the arts, but it is because we're a public high school in the academics. Did I answer all your questions, Bim?
Yes, that's great. And I'm so thrilled that this is open to all kids, not just to kids who can afford a private school. You're doing an awesome job.
Yeah, I cannot say that strongly enough. We are not a private school, and our students come from all over the state, from the farthest reaches of the state. Maybe not quite as far as Las Cruces, because that is really, really far. But we do have students who come from Silver City, which is 6 hours away, from like I said, Ruidoso, from Grants, from all over the state, our students hail from. And they come and they audition, and then at this point, our housing is still up at the Carmelites, up near St. John's. So we have room for about 30 dorm students, but we just received funding to build our dormitory on campus. And by the fall of, I think the fall of I can't say exactly, but very soon we will have space for 60 students.
Wow.
In our dormitories, and we are a closed campus. So the students stay on campus all day. Seniors have some privileges. If they are doing very well in their academic classes, they can leave if they have a free period, they can go get lunch. But it's completely enclosed. Everything happens right downtown, right here on our campus. So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think most of the questions have been asked. We've talked about the COVID and the biggest challenge of teaching during COVID. Yeah, they've all been questions about COVID, Barb, and how the students have reacted and what you've had to do to change. And I think you have covered just about everything on that.
Well, and I'll tell you, this is how we go around all the time. And it's hard. It's hard when you're talking to another person to really be able to read their faces. And these students they really need to have a full face experience. And yet we have been able to move through this, with this, beyond this. The mask mandate, I don't know if you saw in the newspapers, will be lifted in Santa Fe Public Schools. That includes us as of March 21st when we come back from spring break. There will be students who will remain masked for various reasons, there will be students who will take off their masks, and we will adjust to that new reality when we get there as well. So we've learned to be super flexible around all of this and really, really creative. It's beautiful how the creativity, we've had some really seismic shifts in how we do things, and how we communicate. So yeah.
I think you have a question from Randy Klein.
Okay, let's see. Randy, yes, I do. Randy, can you cut your hand up?
Hello.
Hi.
Just to build off of, first of all, very inspiring, everything that you're saying, Barb, and I'm just really excited for NMSA. So to build off of MIMS, I'm curious, what are some of the entrance requirements for the other art majors besides acting?
Great question. So as I said, we have 5 majors at this point. We will be adding a 6th, cinematic studies, that's down the line. So to audition, so if you're a visual artist and you would like to join the visual arts department, it is by portfolio review. And then you would come in, if we're in person, you'd come in and actually do a drawing class with the teachers so that they could see with a prompt how well you execute something. And then there is also an interview portion to that interview process as well. For dance, again, it's with the theater department also, we do a group class with all of the students so that we see them working together as an ensemble, and then we see them individually. I forgot to mention that. The dance department does something quite similar. They'll do a group class with the dancers who are auditioning that day, and then work with them individually and see their work individually. For the music department, again, they'll do some kind of group warm up, and then the instrumentalists will play their instrument, a prepared piece, and the vocalists will sing a prepared piece, or I think they do 2 pieces as well. And there's always an interview portion to every audition piece, because we want to have a conversation with the person too. We see them as an artist, but we want to get to know them a little. So we have sort of very open-ended questions where they can tell us as much or as little about themselves and why they want to come here and what it is they love about their art form, how they prepared their work. So we know a little bit about their process. And then for creative writing and literature, they do some writing exercises, and there's also a portfolio aspect to that, and then a writing exercise in person so that those students get a chance to do some writing from prompts in person. So it's a pretty rigorous audition process. It's pretty professional. It's like going out into the world and auditioning for a director that you've never met before. And remember, these students are 13, 14 years old. And just the fact that they walk through the doors or on Zoom and do this is so huge for us. You know, and if I could take every single one of them into this department, I would. But again, then we score them, and then the scores are given to an audition committee, and then that they create our departments from that. So very rigorous, very exciting.
I think Jan, do you have one more question again, Jan? Do you wanted to?
Oh,
ask?
I don't have a question. I have a promotion. I mean, Barbara, you mentioned Art Spring. I
Yeah.
just want to encourage anybody who's not a parent of a kid at the school, and that's what a lot of the parents and the grandparents come. But this is phenomenal to see these kids come together and put a production that showcases every aspect of what they've done for the last year and 2 and 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's going to be remarkable from what you've said. I just want to encourage everybody to log on to the website and sign up for the promotion. I mean, it's already coming out. There's the one I just got for Art Spring. Anyhow, just wanted to put my 2 cents in that this is entertainment that everybody should see who's interested in the arts, not just the family of the students.
Thank
So,
Thank you, Jan. That's awesome. Yeah, Deb, if you can put the website into the chat, www.nmschoolforthearts.org, all in one word, nmschoolforthearts.org. And you can check out everything that's happening in the school, anything you want to know about our history, how we were founded, who's working here. You can check out the teachers. You know, you'll see teachers' bios or artists' bios, and they're always very condensed. Everyone who works here is a passionate educator, whether they're teaching math, history, or theater, across the board. And a lot of even the academic teachers have arts backgrounds, have some kind of arts in their background. So there's a lot of really great collaboration, conversation. We're really we've been through a lot as the rest of the world has been. But I feel very strongly that we're all going to come out the other side of this better, stronger, more resilient, with more creativity, more excitement, and tools that we never imagined that we'd ever have to have, right? Whoever thought we'd have to figure out how to do a play on Zoom? Oh my gosh, never again.
And it'll never go back, I think. We're always going to be back and forth now between those. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We don't have any other questions at this point that I can see.
Yes, there's one. I see
One more. Let's see in chat. I do see one more. Let's see here.
Or is it
HCB activity in New Mexico.
is that Elia or Elia? Elia Redfield.
That's Elia. Thank you so much. I didn't catch how many students you have, and I wanted to know approximately how many you have to turn away.
So in the theater department, we generally have about 65 students across the 4 grades. So each class is anywhere from 16 to 20 students. We generally take 20 into our freshman class. It depends on what the needs are among the different departments. Some departments can take more, some can take less, but generally each freshman class can take up to 20. That's usually our cap. And this year I think we had 35 audition, or 30 or 35. So there is still, or maybe it was a little bit less, but at any rate, somewhere around 30 every year, 30 to 40 audition for the department. So yeah, it's pretty competitive. Visual arts, just so that you know, there are so many visual artists in this state, right?
Wow.
Look where we are in this state. The visual artists usually have between 60 and 80 bring in their portfolios, and they take 20 to 25 students. So it's very difficult. And yes, it makes for a lot of very, very disappointed. There are some students who audition as freshmen and then audition again as sophomores, and then get into the department if there's an opening in the sophomore class. Some students will start at Santa Fe High as a freshman and saying, I'm not happy here. I would like to go to NMSA, and then they audition and can also get into, so we do take sophomores and juniors. More rare is it to take a senior because the training is so specific. But we do also have sophomores and juniors who join our class as well. So does that answer your question, Ina?
Well, it certainly does. And something silly. I'm in my second childhood and I want to come and audition for the freshman class.
I'll tell you, I cannot tell you how many people say to us as adults, oh, I wish we had this kind of a school when we were growing up.
I wish we did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
really amazing for New Mexico because it's not just for Santa Feans. We have students, like I said, from all walks of life. And we won't turn you away. We want you here, right? So.
And it's only students in New Mexico, from New Mexico, who are available.
Exactly. We've
Thank
had
you so
students who have been planning, whose families are saying, oh, maybe we'll move to New Mexico. They're in, we had an auditioner from Mexico who auditioned, and their family's thinking of moving. I don't know if they got in, I have no idea, but they did a fabulous audition. So who knows? They could come from all over. But it's New Mexicans, and they have to be New Mexico residents. Anywhere in the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. This has been so inspiring, really. And I really hope everybody comes to see the Addams Family, for sure.
Come to any of the performances,
I
all
love
to the public. Yeah, check them out. Our one acts at the end of March. April 2nd, our senior projects, April 22nd and 23rd, the Addams Family, April 28th, 29th, 30th, and May 1st, Art Spring, the weekend of the 21st. And please also, I'm going to go back to the first slide that you saw. Also for New Mexico Actors Lab, benefit performance
Right, please. do it
on
again.
March 13th.
Mhm.
New Mexico Actors Lab not only does phenomenal theatrical work, but is also just an amazing company in this town. So do support your local theater companies. We have some amazing.
Please do. Yes.
Just one last note, just so that you know, also, we encourage our students to audition outside of the school. We encourage them to audition at the Playhouse or for New Mexico Actors Lab. We have students who are going to be performing in Joey Chavez's, he's going to be doing a production of Joey Chavez's 11 of his short plays. We've got a couple of students in that. We have students who go out into the film industry and are doing work in the film industry and getting agents even while they're still in high school. And we encourage all that. We want them to go out and get experiences outside. We're 4 teachers. We have 4 teachers' experiences, and we all have different backgrounds. There's my mouse. My mouse just came back into my office. We have a mouse. Sorry, mouse. And we encourage our students to go out into and get more experience in the city and in New Mexico so that they can do all kinds of different things. So we really, yeah.
We are so lucky to have you and have your enthusiasm and have your love and have your art experience, really, Barb. It's a blessing. So thank you so very much for doing this for us.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming, for listening to me babble at you for an hour. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you can put, if you want to, if anybody has any further questions, you're welcome to email me directly. My email is barbara.hatch@nmsa-ai.org.
And if you need it, let me know when I can get you to her, for sure.
If you can't find it, I'm on the website. So thank
Have
you
a
all so much. Have a wonderful evening.